Hammond Redevelopment Commission meeting to order on this Thursday. It's June 4th, 2020. It is now 4:38. The meeting will begin, but before we start, just please take another moment of silence, especially in this difficult time for our country. All right, thank you. Cynthia, then can we get a roll call for the meeting tonight on the commissioners?
Merritt,
Here.
Little Presley,
Here.
Kasperky, Myricks,
Here.
Upridge.
Here. For the record, we have 4 present and 1 absent. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Okay, number 4 is communications.
Commissioner, we did receive a letter on Tuesday, June 2nd. May I read it?
Yes, I think everybody should have got it in their packet, hopefully, but please do, Cynthia.
This was received after packets went out, but
Okay.
it was received on Tuesday, June 2nd at 9:27 a.m. And it says, "To whom this may concern, I am writing this letter regarding the lots in Millennium Manor. My name is Jessica Gonzalez and my husband is Abner Gonzalez. My husband in particular has been interested in purchasing a lot in Millennium Manor for years. We just didn't know how to go about it. A few days ago, we stumbled on a sign and decided to call, and that is where I had the pleasure of speaking to Africa. It's been our dream that we build our dream home in this area. My husband is a general contractor and builds homes for a living and is hopeful and excited about the opportunity to buy not 1, but 2 lots. At the moment, we are interested in lots 22 and 23, 5224 and 5232 Torrance Avenue. We have a bid offer of $14,000 for both lots. We are very hopeful that you take our bid in consideration and appreciate your time. Sincerely, Jessica Gonzalez."
Tony, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yes, what I was saying, Cynthia's right. An email went out, so I did print this out. I think it was after the packets. I don't think any action's needed. We'll just probably refer it to staff. The only comment I have, maybe for Africa, I'm not sure. I'm very familiar with this parcel of land. There was a few hots and then it's sat idle for quite a few years. So it's good to see hopefully some movement going again on this. I'm not sure if this guy wants to build a house and then have a lot, for more land or not. I mean, I'm not totally dead against that, but, I'd rather, see, each lot parcel, have a home built on it. That would be my only thing, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when it happens, but that's all I have on that one.
Would we be able to get a copy of the letter?
Yes.
Okay. Email would be fine.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else have a comment? Otherwise, we'll just refer that to staff, and I'm sure they'll work with whoever's interested in buying lots and stuff of that nature.
Do we need a motion for that?
No, it's just
No.
we're just
Okay. All right.
just accept. The letters, we reviewed it.
Okay.
We don't need any action done on that. All right, then number 5 is our minutes. We've got 2 sets of them dating May 5th, 2020, and then May 19th, 2020.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for May 5th, 2020 and May 19th, 2020 with corrections on May 19th to be made that Soto Presley was present for a redevelopment meeting. They have her marked absent.
That is correct. Can we get a second on that?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for our minutes dating May 5th, 2020 and May 19th, 2020 with the correction for Soto Presley was present. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Casperky, Myricks,
Yes.
Hawkridge.
Yes. Motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, we will move to number 6 is going to be all our essential matters. So 6A is our homebound conditional forgivable loan approval. Looks like we have 3 applicants.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval of the homebound conditional forgivable loan for the 3 applicants, Scott and Deborah Wells, 818 173rd Place, and Andy Penna-Castillo, 7510 Monroe, and Betty Ann Taylor, 907 175th Place.
I second that. Whoops. We both second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval for the 3 applicants on the agenda tonight. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Casperky, Myricks,
Yes.
Hawkridge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, letter B, it's an approval of change order number 1 for utility service company incorporated for the 1,500,000 gallon radio arm exterior repaint.
Members of the commission, you'll find a change order in your packet. We do have Bruce Long from the Hammond Water Department on the meeting today. He will discuss the change order. He just needs to be unmuted. Bruce, can you unmute yourself at this time, please?
Hello, Africa. How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Hey, Bruce.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Tony.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So Bruce, at this time, can you discuss the change order to the commission?
Okay, this is our 3rd tank that we're having worked on, and there's a center column of these tanks. Now, there's an old entry hatch. Sometimes they can refurbish that old entry hatch and use that area again. However, in this type of tank, since it's been here since before 1935, they try to put the new manway in that location, and it will not work because the existing manway is too low to the bottom of the center column. So the new manway has to be put in a different location, and then the old manway, which they were going to try to refurbish, is not going to work, so they have to cut a plate out of the manway and weld a new spot into that location. I mean, we went through the same issues with Harrison Tank and with Parish Tank. So this is not an uncommon thing. They tried to make an attempt to use the old manway area, but it's not going to be possible.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that, so.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve the change order number 1, Utility Services Company Incorporated for 1,500,000 gallon radio arm exterior repaint.
Second.
Okay, We have a motion and a second. That's going to be for the approval of change order number 1, Utility Service Company Incorporated for the 1,500,000 gallon radio arm exterior repaint. If there's no further questions for Mr. Bruce Long, can we have a roll call on that?
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Pressbridge, Myricks,
Yes.
Hopperidge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes with 1 absent. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
You're
you.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
Okay, letter C is approval of Down Park Fields parking lot construction project, and that's a change order number 6.
Members of the commission, in your package, you will find an approval for the Dowling Park Fields parking lot construction project. This is change order number 6. At this time, I would just ask that Dean Budden well, it appears he's unmuted at this time, and he will discuss this change order.
Thank you, Africa. Good afternoon, members of the commission. Appreciate the opportunity to address you today. In your packet, you would find change order number 6 for the Dowling Park Fields parking lot reconstruction project. This is for an additional landscaping that is required around Dowling Park in the amount of $29,000. We have reviewed this with the administration, the chief of staff, and the controller, and there is funds available in the contract, in the TIF for this work. The original project cost budget for the currently at a total amount of $1,058,795.26. I would ask for your approval at this. Use the index, and I can't answer. We have.
It was a little scratchy, but I see the figures if everybody has them in front of them.
If there's no questions, Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval of Dowling Park Fields parking lot construction project, change order number 2.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the approval of Dowling Park Fields parking lot construction project, change order number 6. Roll call, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Pressbridge, Myricks,
Yes.
Hopperidge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you, Dean. Letter D is an approval of proposal for initial site characterization services for former H&H Auto Service located at 4406 Holman Avenue.
Members of the commission, let me give you a little background regarding this. I recently received a letter from ITEM regarding an environmental incident that occurred at this site located at 4406 Holman Avenue. The property is HRC owned. At that time, I contacted Ron Novak from our environmental department, and he advised me to contact John Tanaka because during that time, Basscor, he was an employee of Basscor, and Basscor was responsible for handling the environmental incident. As you may be aware, Basscor has since dismantled, and John Tanaka now works for BDJ Group, so I reached out to him. He does have all the appropriate information regarding the tank removal and everything that was done. And in your package, you will find a proposal stating what he will do as far as providing a response to items stating the actions that were taken for the underground storage tank removal. That is what I'm requesting approval for, is to engage him with this proposal.
Mr. President, if no one has any questions, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of proposal for initial site characterization services for former H&H Auto Services located at 4406 Holman Avenue.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the approval of proposal initial site characterization services for former H&H Auto Services located at 4406 Holman Avenue. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Esperky, Myrick,
Yes.
Upridge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, letter E is determination of compliance with redevelopment plan for the Hammond Central area for new construction at Morrison Construction, which is located at 1814 Summer Street.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
You're
Yeah,
breaking
Brian.
up.
Okay, all right. So Morrison Construction is located in the 1800 block of Summer Street. The specific address for this project is 1814. This is just one of the various buildings that they have on that particular property. What they are proposing to do is to demolish the existing building at 1814 Summer Street and construct a new building pretty much in the same place. The new building will be a little bit larger, going from almost 4,500 square feet to 7,200 square feet. In your packet, you should have received the site plan and some of the elevation drawings of the building. The building is proposed to be a metal prefabricated building. Most of the siding will be the vertical metal siding, but they will have masonry on the lower portion, or 50% of the facade that does face the street. In addition to the new building, they are going to pavement in the parking lot that's immediately adjacent, and then do some restriping on a lot a little bit down the street to accommodate their accessible parking requirements. The total project is $425,000. There will be no new permanent jobs, but of course there'll be the temporary construction jobs. But this project is really important to the company in order for them to maintain their existing business and keep their employees. It is located in the Hammond Central redevelopment area. Some of the important provisions for the redevelopment area are listed in my report. The one that I want to point out is that the goal of the commission is to improve the visual appearance of the right-of-way in this, basically the central Hammond area, and Summer Street between Columbia and West 65th is called out specifically. That is one reason why we wanted to make sure that the materials of this portion of the building that faces the street is appropriate and visually, enhancing the visual appearance of the street, as well as improving the parking lot and the landscaping associated with it. The various departments have reviewed it. They're okay with it. Therefore, staff recommends that the redevelopment commission make a determination that the project is in compliance with the with the redevelopment plan, just subject to the typical permitting procedures.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I just like to make a comment. Yeah, Morrison Construction, I'm pretty sure they've been there, a long time. So it's good to keep them there, Brian, especially in that corridor there off of Summer Street. It's a great fit, and I'm glad to see them stay there and expand. So be a good enhancement there to continue on that property. Okay, then we have a motion and a second. That's for the determination compliance with the redevelopment plan for Hammond Central area for new construction at Morrison Construction at 1814 Summer Street. And with the determination, proposed new construction and parking lot for Morrison Construction is in compliance with the redevelopment plan, subject to technical requirements of the permitting procedures. If there's no further questions, then roll call on that, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Casperkey, Myricks,
Yes.
Hopperidge.
Yes. Motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent. Thank you, Mr. Poland.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, that brings us to letter F, approval of resolution number 04-2020. That is a resolution of the City of Hammond, Indiana Redevelopment Commission amending the declaratory resolution, which designated the Marina Development Area, approved the development plan for the Marina Development Area, and designated the state line allocation area for the purpose of tax increment financing in order to remove certain real property from said location area provisions of the declaratory resolution.
Members of the commission, in your package, you will find resolution 04-2020 as it pertains to amending the declaratory resolution for the area known as the state line allocation area. At this time, we have Dan Bowditch on the call, and I ask that he unmute himself so he can discuss this resolution as well as resolution 05-2020, which you will vote for at a different time.
Good afternoon, commissioners and Commission President Hopperidge. The resolutions before you today can be taken together, but there is an order that is required such that 04-2020 is considered first and 05-2020 is considered second. The purpose of this resolution is to correct a tax decrement in the state line allocation area. What had occurred was the declaratory resolution that was passed on November 21st of 2017 set the base value of the state line allocation area, the base assessment date and the assessed values as January 1st, 2017. The City of Hammond, portions of property within the state line allocation area for public improvements from Sam Town Line. The impact of that purchase in late November, early December of 2017 by the Redevelopment Commission caused the property to become tax exempt, government owned, which means that the base assessed value now was set at $2 million, for example, yet the January 1st, 2018 assessed value became 0 as the current value, which means it was at a negative value. That in essence causes a tax increment that impacts the allocation area. So what we're doing here through resolution 04 is removing 3 parcels of land, 3 parcels being 450136, 17601, 02 and 03. 03 is the parcel that portions of were purchased from Town Line, Sam Town Line. 1 is owned by Town Line and is undevelopable. And parcel number 2 is not developable because it's owned by Commonwealth Edison. And in order to eliminate potential decrements there, the 3 parcels are requested in this resolution to be pruned out or removed from the allocation area. And then in essence, what 05 does is 05 resolution places back into the allocation area that portion, the portion of 003 or all of 003, excuse me, that because it is owned by the Redevelopment Commission, for that purpose, any increment or surplus tax increment can be used for public improvements in the state line allocation area as a result of increment generated by the Hammond data center. So it's a way, in general, and to summarize, we're taking out one parcel because it's at a decrement, and then we're going to reset its value, base of that assessed value, to 0, so that all increment from the data center will, or captured AV from the data center will be captured and will not be reduced because of the tax decrement of another parcel. That's generally an overview. If you share my screen, I can show it to you, but that would provide a little bit more information for you on what's happening.
Oh, that's pretty good explanation. Thank you, Mr. Bowditch. I don't know if anybody wants to ask any questions.
If I may add, Mr. President, one comment.
Sure.
The public will normally ask if there is a tax levy or tax rate impact. And in this case, there's no tax rate or tax levy impact because there was no assessed value that was captured, because the base value of the property, let me pull it up. The base value of the property is $2.6 million, but the current AV is $1.6 million. So all taxing units will continue to get the $1.6 million into the system. And even after the pruning, they will continue to get the assessed value that they had received before.
Okay, thank you for that additional comment.
You are welcome.
So if nobody has any questions, then we'll just take one at a time for, if you want to entertain a motion on these.
(4-2020).
I didn't hear. Did you make a motion, Greg?
Yes.
Okay, I second. Sorry.
Okay, we have if everybody can hear me okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the approval of resolution number 04-2020. Just like I said, we'll do them one at a time. So that's a motion and a second. And we have a roll call.
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Hasperky, Myrick,
Yes.
Hopridge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, next is the approval of resolution 05-2020. If we can get a motion and a second on that.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of resolution number 05-2020.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the approval of resolution number 5-2020. You can get a roll call on that, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Hasperky, Myrick,
Yes.
Hopridge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent.
Mr. President,
All right.
if I may.
Sure.
Just so, and I usually provide this information, is the next step is the Redevelopment Commission through Cynthia Rangel will supply and provide the Plan Commission and Brian Poland the 2 documents. They are required to be submitted to the Plan Commission for their approval as being compliant with the city's official planning documents or comprehensive plan. Upon the Plan Commission's approval, assuming July 20th, they would then submit information to the City Council meeting on July 27th, so that the council can approve that action of the Plan Commission, with a July 17th public hearing by the Redevelopment Commission, and then a consideration of the confirming resolutions by the Redevelopment Commission. So I just wanted to let everybody know the next steps in the process.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Dan.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Yep.
If you need me no longer, I will drop off and say goodnight to everybody and stay healthy and be safe.
You as well.
All right.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right. Good night. All right. Letter H then is an approval of change orders for the demolition of the former Carson's. That's at 6600 Indianapolis Boulevard. We got change order number 02 for J&M Industrial Services and change order number 3 for Americo Incorporated.
So if I'm not mistaken, they're giving us money back.
I'm sorry?
I said, if I'm not mistaken, they're giving us money back.
That's right. Yeah, $31,450.
Well, yay.
Yeah, the first is for the allowance. We had an allowance in there to cover because there was a heating oil tank in the ground, but the cost to clean up some of the contamination and dispose of it and backfill it was only $3,050. So we're deducting $14,450 on that. And then he was over the project. When we submitted for bid, we asked him for their schedule, and he put a schedule of 90 days in. And that's what we told the commission. That's how long it would take us to manage the job then. He ended up running over 78 days, or calendar days, which is 55 work days. So the additional time for my project manager on site to make sure the site's clean and nothing was buried came out to $17,000. So the total deduct is $31,450 on change order 2 for JM Industrial Services.
Okay. So we got it like that.
Hey, Mr. Blosky, why do you think it took so extra extended time? What happened?
Well, it's a pretty common thing with JM Wrecking that they bid the work, they bid it cheap, but then they throw one person, an operator on there and a dump truck on there and a laborer on the job. And that's been kind of driving Kevin Smith nuts for quite a few years now. He's there. We have our progress meetings, just like with the abatement. That's why we asked them, we put a schedule in the specifications, but we asked them to submit their schedule. And he put down 90 days. And why he took longer? Because he doesn't staff, he overextends himself, I'm guessing, with demolition projects between Hammond, East Chicago, and Gary. And he's the least costly bidder, so people award a lot of work to him, but he doesn't have the staff to support the work that he's awarded. So that's why.
All right. Well, thank you. I just was curious. I know they do good work, but I have seen them on site too.
There too, huh?
I have seen them on site too, and you are correct. There's usually a 2 to 3 man crew. So, all right. Well, thank you then on that.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And so I recommend that you approve that change order number 2.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval of change order number 2 from JM Industrial Service Incorporated.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the change order number 2 for J&M Industrial Services. Can we get a roll call on that?
Merrick? You're on mute.
Yes.
Soto Presley? You're muted, Soto Presley.
Yes, sorry.
Hasbricky? Iriks?
Yes.
Hoppridge?
Yes. Thank you. That motion passes with 4 yes, 1 absent. Did you want to elaborate any more, Mr. Blasky, on change order number 3?
No, that's just the $17,000 for the 55 extra days that we had to spend on the job that was deducted from JM's contract.
Okay. Then we need to have a motion in a second on that one as well.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval of change order number 3 from Americo Incorporated.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for change order number 3 for Americo Incorporated. Can we get a roll call, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Casperky, Myricks,
Yes.
Hopbridge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, letter I is approval of a payment application for number 05 for the demolition of former Carson's 6600 Indianapolis Boulevard.
Yeah, so this will be their second to last payment application. It's for everything except their final site survey, which will identify the depths and locations of sewers and water lines that were terminated on the site. We're withholding, in accordance with the Indiana Public Works Law, 200% of the value of the work plus the cost of the work. So we're withholding retainage at this point, $7,500. And I recommend this be approved for payment.
Yes, everybody needs to get paid.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of payment application number 5 for the demolition of the former Carson 6600 block Indianapolis Boulevard.
I second that.
All right, there's a motion and a second. That's the approval payment application number 5 for demolition of former Carson's 6600 Indianapolis Boulevard. Roll call on that, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Casperky, Myricks,
Yes.
Hopbridge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, I do have one thing to report on that job. Just the last day or so, because of the amount of rain we've had lately, there's an old sewer line and there's a hole in the ground right now. It's right near the boundary of the construction zone, so we are investigating it. JM went out and put barricades up around there. But it could be because the site was covered with asphalt for all these years and now it's covered with sand and gravel, that all the rain, we don't know what's causing this washout. If there's a break in the old sewer line that runs north and south, it picks up the storm sewers from the sports complex and it heads northward towards 165th Avenue. And tying into that were a couple of, about 1, 2, 3, 4 storm sewers. And so we're investigating that, but I just want to report that to you. I've been in contact with Africa about it and JM, and that's all. We're working on it, but you'll see a little hole in the ground about the size, about 3 foot in diameter, and it's washing something somewhere. So
I have a question.
yes.
That doesn't impact, that didn't impact the recent flooding that different people had in Hammond, did it?
Not that I know of, but we got a considerable amount of rain. So basically where it runs from the south to the north, almost parallel to Indianapolis Boulevard, but on the Carson site and on the sports complex site. So the water would run north. I'll have a better understanding of that this afternoon. I had a couple of my guys out there checking the water flow to make sure it's flowing through correctly from the different sewers.
Would we
So
be
is it
able,
something that, oh, go ahead, Marion.
I was going to say, would we be able to get a follow-up, have a follow-up conversation on whether it does or does not impact the flooding? or did or did not, I'm sorry, did or did not in the past month?
Yeah, I will get an update to Africa on that to share with you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is probably something too, John, that might need fixing and tying back in because it might not be really abandoned.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, and what happened when they were working on the site, we did discover that they did break a sewer, but that was repaired by Salyer Plumbing, which is a reputable firm. And but this is actually south of there, like 100 feet or so from where they actually broke the sewer line originally. So we had to fix that, and now we need to see what's going on here. But we'll find out in the next, probably by tomorrow, I'm guessing something. I'll keep Africa informed daily of the progress on it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening, and I'm going to check out as well then.
Thank you.
I
Have
don't
a
think
nice evening. Be safe.
Is that it, Africa? Okay, thank you all. Have a great day.
All righty. Okay, moving along then, letter J is an approval of Community Development Block Grant Professional Services Agreement with USONA Development LLC.
Members of the commission, in your package, you will find an agreement for professional services for USONA Development LLC. The city of Hammond has received funds, the CARES Act. That was funding from the Department of Housing and Urban Development to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. USONA Development LLC is a company that we deal with. The principal is William Bill Kubel, and I believe he does have an associate as well. The scope of his work will be technical assistance as it pertains to the CARES Act, and it will include the preparation of applications and reports for HUD. He will do development of policies and procedures and training of the department staff and select city partners on the proper administration of HUD funding. As you know, we received this funding, and this is a completely new pot of money that comes with a lot of different regulations that we're not very familiar with, because they were trying to work on things as they were dealing with the pandemic. So at this time, I would ask that you approve the contract for him with a not to exceed amount of $50,000. And he is in the contract, the contract does reflect his rate that was previously approved for his relationship with us with IDIS as an IDIS IDIS professional.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the Community Development Block Grant Professional Services Agreement with USONA Development LLC, with it not exceeding $50,000.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any questions on? Okay, then roll call, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Soto Presi,
Yes.
Kasperky, Myricks,
Yes.
Hopbridge.
Yes, motion passes. 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, letter K, approval of Community Development Block Grant Professional Services Agreement with Jackie Del Rosa.
Members of the commission, you will find an agreement for professional services for Jacqueline DeRosa. This is actually, it pertains to the COVID CARES money, the CARES Act funding that we received through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. A portion of those funds were used for for-profit business assistance in the form of the Small Business Resiliency Program. Mrs. DeRosa will be responsible for reviewing the financial aspects of those applications. So she'll upon receipt of the applications, staff will internally make sure all the documentation that's necessary is in the file, and then it will be forwarded to Mrs. DeRosa, and she will do a financial review of the actual application and then provide a recommendation to staff as far as the exact amount that the businesses will be eligible for. The program states that the businesses are eligible for up to $10,000, but there are certain things that we have to look for. We have to make sure that funds are not duplicated from another funding source. And she will be looking to see what the actual need of the business is, as the profit and loss statement reflects.
Is there,
Oh, go on, Greg.
is there a not to exceed on this one as well?
Yes, there is a not to exceed amount of $20,000.
Okay. Okay.
Are those funds, every time that a different applicant or that she approves an applicant's funds, are they coming before HRC?
You will get, well, you approve the actual, the final amount that will go out to the businesses will be approved. They will go through HRC in the form of probably a purchase order.
Okay. So with that being said, if there's no other conversation about it, I'd like to make a motion for approval of Community Development Block Grant Professional Services Agreement with Jackie DeRosa.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the approval of Community Development Block Grant Professional Services Agreement with Jackie DeRosa. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Toto Presley,
Yes.
Hasbricki, Myrick,
Yes.
Uppridge.
Yes, motion passes. That's 4 yes and 1 absent. All right, letter L is approval of Community Development Block Grant Agreement with the Hammond Sanitary District.
Members of the commission, in your package, you will find an agreement for the use of Community Development Block Grant dollars. I'm sure as many of you are aware, the city of Hammond experienced an extreme storm event on May 23rd that caused several people to have flooding in their basement. By no fault of the city of Hammond, we just received an extremely large amount of water. All the systems were working, but we do want to be responsive to the residents because we do understand that they experienced a great amount of damage as it pertained to that storm event. So there is, the city of Hammond has established a program, the Storm Relief Program, for $500 to cover the cost of cleanup as it resulted from the storm. A portion of that funding will come from the Hammond Sanitary District, but we also wanted to use a portion of the funding from Community Development Block Grant dollars for people that will income qualify, that we can use those dollars towards. So at this time, I'm asking for your approval for a portion of those funds, $200,000, I believe, to go towards that program.
Yes, very much needed.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the Community Development Block Grant Agreement with the Hammond Sanitary District.
I second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. That's for the approval of the Community Development Block Grant Agreement with Hammond Sanitary District. Let's get a roll call on that, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Toto Presley,
Yes.
Hasbricki, Myrick,
Yes.
Uppridge.
Yes, motion passes. 4 yes, 1 absent.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to letter M. That's our bills, register of claims.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pay the register of claims for May 14th, 2020 through May 29th, 2020 for register of claims R58670 through R58689.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion And a second, that's for our Register of Claims dating May 14th, 2020 through May 29th, 2020. That's claim R58670 through claim R58689. Is there any questions or discussion on these claims? All right, since there is none, roll call then.
Merrick,
Yes.
Total Presley,
Yes.
Tesbricki, Myricks,
Yes.
Hopridge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes, with 1 absent. All right, before we adjourn, I don't know, does anybody have any additional comments or anything?
I just want to say I'm disappointed that Wally wasn't here when we had a change order that netted a benefit to us. And
That's
I
what-
thought you would have had a hard time with that one.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought of that as well.
So we'll have to remind him the next time he gets on a change order dilemma. So
You are correct, Dave. Sometimes they can go the other way.
that's right. That's right. It's tonight.
All right. I thought I might have had something, but obviously there was so much tonight. It'll come back to me. I'll just bring it up at maybe the next meeting, but maybe it wasn't that important. Well, if nobody has anything else, God bless all of you, and just need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. Okay,
Can't
we have
hear
a
him.
motion in a, we have a motion in a second. Cynthia, you can figure out who motion in a second. Just all signify by aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.
Good
Hey,
night.
Cynthia, just
Be
get a hold of
safe.
me tomorrow.